Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss anti-hyperlipidemic drugs by Professor Sabashik. So first we'll see what do you mean by anti-hyperlipidemic drugs. So these are the drugs which lowers the levels of lipid and lipoprotein in the blood. So basically these are the drug which reduces the level of lipid and lipoprotein present in the blood. So before start with the classification of or the treatment part of hyperlipidemia, first we'll see the lipid and its metabolism. So lipids are carried in plasma in lipoprotein. So basically lipids are carried in the plasma in the form of lipoprotein. The plasma lipid concentration are depend on the concentration of lipoprotein. So whatever is the concentration of lipid which is present in the plasma is nothing but the concentration of the lipoprotein. Lipoprotein are classified on the basis of density, which are as follows. So first one is chylomicron, lowest density, then very low density lipoprotein VLDL, LDL that is nothing but low density lipoprotein, and HDL that is nothing but high density lipoprotein. Now we'll see the metabolism of lipid, how the metabolism of lipid occur. So dietary cholesterol packed in the chylomicron. So whenever we take something fatty substance in the food, so what happens, it will come into the intestine, and then what happens, this dietary cholesterol in the intestine is packed in the chylomicron. Then it is carried via a blood circulation to the liver. Through the blood circulation, the dietary cholesterol packed in a chylomicron goes to the liver. Then liver packages dietary endogenous cholesterol and triglyceride and packed into VLDL. So basically in the liver what happens, the dietary endogenous cholesterol and triglyceride is packed into very low density lipoprotein. Now this very low density lipoprotein then traveled in bloodstream to the other organ. Then while traveling what happens, so during circulation the muscle and the adipose tissue extract triglyceride from VLDL. So what happens, this is packed in VLDL, dietary endogenous cholesterol and triglyceride. Then this VLDL travel into the bloodstream to the other organ. While circulation or while traveling, the muscle and adipose tissue extract the triglyceride from VLDL, and then it convert VLDL into LDL, that is nothing but low density lipoprotein. This low density lipoprotein, what happens then, the peripheral cell takes up the low density lipoprotein by endocytosis using LDL receptor. So basically peripheral cell, what it will do, it will takes up the LDL by the process of endocytosis using the LDL receptor. And then the cholesterol is in use in cell membrane and other function. So now the cell takes up the cholesterol, takes up the LDL, and then the cholesterol which is present in the LDL is used in cell membrane and other function. After that, the excess cholesterol, okay, the cholesterol which is remaining after performing all this function, so excess cholesterol is then exported from the cell and delivered to HDL, that is high density lipoprotein. Then this HDL, it is to be returned to the liver, and the process is called as reverse cholesterol transport. It is the process by which from the muscle or the cell membrane the cholesterol is again returned back to the liver through the HDL. That's why HDL is called as a good cholesterol, because it removes the excess of cholesterol from the blood and the cell to the and direct towards the liver. Then liver uses cholesterol to produce bile. Then this bile is excreted to the intestine and help in the breakdown of the fat. As we know, the bile play a very vital role because it will involve in the breakdown of fat in the intestine. It is involved in the absorption of fat also. Then the part of bile is excreted in feces and rest is recycled back to the liver. Okay, so whatever the bile will perform the function in the small intestine, and then some bile excreted in the feces while other is recycled back to the liver, and then again it will perform the function of the absorption of the or the formation of the cholesterol. So this is about the metabolism of lipid. Now we'll see the classification of anti-hyperlipidemic drug. So it is very much important to understand the metabolism of the lipid. Then only we can then only we can understand the mechanism of action of anti-hyperlipidemic drugs. So this is the classification of anti-hyperlipidemic drugs. So first is the HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor, also called as statins. Example is lovastatin, simvastatin. Why it is called as statins? Because at the end the statin word is there. You can see here statins. Then second one is the bile acid sequestrant, also called as resins, cholestyramine and cholestyramine. Then lipoprotein lipase activator, clofibrate, gemfibrozil, benzafibrate, fenofibrate. The lipoprotein and triglyceride synthesis inhibitor, nicotinic acid, and the last one is the sterol absorption inhibitor, that is nothing but izatimib. So now let's see the first class of drug, that is HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors. So HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors are basically a drug which inhibit the enzyme HMG-CoA reductase. The enzyme HMG-CoA reductase is a very essential enzyme. This is the very essential enzyme in the cholesterol synthesis pathway. So by inhibiting the this enzyme HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor decreases the level of cholesterol. So you can see here statins inhibit the HMG-CoA reductase, leading to the decreased concentration of cholesterol within the cell. So when the cholesterol level is decreased, so what happens? The low intracellular cholesterol stimulate the synthesis of LDL receptor. So you can see here what happens, our drug inhibit HMG-CoA reductase, and thereby the cholesterol level is reduced. This reduced cholesterol level stimulate the synthesis of new LDL receptor. This new synthesis of LDL receptor, so what happens on this LDL receptor, this LDL bind. So increased number of LDL receptor promote the uptake of LDL from the blood. So from the blood, this LDL, which is nothing but the bad cholesterol, it is removed from the blood. So obviously when it is removed from the blood, so our aim is fulfilled. And the fourth point which is important here is this drug, that is HMG-CoA reductase or the statins, low intracellular cholesterol decreases the secretion of VLDL. So this low level of cholesterol also decreases the secretion of this VLDL, that is very low density lipoprotein. So by this way, this HMG-CoA reductase, which is also called as statins, gives the effect of anti-hyperlipidemia. So now we'll see the ADR, adverse drug reaction. So all statins are remarkably well tolerated. Notable side effects are gastrointestinal complaint and headache are usually mild. Rashes and sleep disturbances are uncommon. Rise in serum transaminase can occur, but liver damage is rare. Monitoring of liver function is recommended. So whenever we prescribe such drug to the patient, in such case the liver monitoring is recommended. Now the next class of drug is the bile acid sequestrant, also called as resins. So example is cholestyramine and cholestyramine. So as you can see here, this is the liver. So in the liver, the cholesterol, through the several steps, it is converted into the bile salt. This bile salt then goes to the small intestine, bile acid and bile salt. This bile acid and bile salt through the enterohepatic circulation again come back to the liver. So what happens here, in case of this resin, how it will act? So our drug, it will bind with the bile acid and the bile salt which is present in the small intestine, and then prevent their reabsorption from intestine and form an insoluble complex which is then excreted into the feces. So basically cholestyramine and cholesterol form an insoluble complex with a bile acid and salt, preventing the reabsorption from the intestine, and finally it is excreted into the feces. So now we'll see the ADR of the resins. So resins have been shown to retard atherosclerosis but are not popular clinically because they are unpalatable, inconvenient, have to be taken in large doses, causes flatulence and other GI problems or symptoms, interfere with the absorption of many drugs and have poor patient acceptability. Due to all these side effects, these resins are not that much popular as a anti-hyperlipidemic drugs. Now, the next class of drug is lipoprotein lipase activator, which is also called as fibrates. So these are the class of drug, that is clofibrate, gemfibrozil, benzafibrate and fenofibrate. So what happens here? This fibrate is agonist to PPAR alpha. Agonist to PPAR alpha. So PPAR alpha is nothing but the peroxisome proliferator activated receptor. So what happens? This receptor, it is required for the expression of gene. So expression of genes responsible for increased activity of plasma lipoprotein lipase enzyme. So in order to have an increased activity of lipoprotein lipase enzyme, we require this the activation of this receptor. So our drug, that is fibrate, it is agonist to PPAR alpha. So due to the increased activity of lipoprotein lipase enzyme, it will do the hydrolysis of VLDL and chylomicron. So hydrolysis of VLDL and chylomicron is ultimately lead to the decreased serum triglyceride level. So basically our drug is fibrate is nothing but the activator of lipoprotein lipase. So how it will activate lipoprotein lipase? By agonist action on PPAR alpha receptor, which is nothing but the peroxisome proliferator activated receptor. Now we'll see the ADR of fibrates. Common side effects are epigastric distress, loose motion, skin rashes, body ache, eosinophilia, impotence, headache and blurred vision have been reported. Myopathy is uncommon. Incidence of gallbladder stone is not increased as we seen in clofibrate. It is contraindicated during pregnancy. That means this particular drug we cannot give to the pregnant woman. Now the next class of drug is lipolysis and triglyceride synthesis inhibitor. So example is nicotinic acid. It increases the activity of lipase which break down the lipid, and thereby it will serve the purpose as anti-hyperlipidemic drug. It also decreases the metabolism of cholesterol and triglyceride. Now we'll see the ADR of nicotinic acid. So large doses needed for hypolipidemic action are poorly tolerated. Only about half of the patient are able to take the full dose. So here, in order to show the hypolipidemic effect, a large dose is required. So it is basically a poor patient compliance occur here. Nicotinic acid is cutaneous vasodilator. That means it will cause marked flushing, heat and itching on the surface of the skin. Then dyspepsia is very common. Vomiting, diarrhea occur when full dose are given. Peptic ulcer may be activated. Dryness and hyperpigmentation of skin can be troublesome. Other long-term effects are liver dysfunction and jaundice. Serious liver damage is the most important risk. So due to lot of side effect, most of the time this drug is not prescribed by the physician. Hyperglycemia, precipitation of diabetes occur. That's why this particular drug is contraindicated in diabetic patient. We cannot give to the diabetic patient this drug because it will precipitate the diabetes. Now the last class of drug is the sterol absorption inhibitor. So example is ezetimibe. So it is a novel drug. It is a very new drug that act by inhibiting the intestinal absorption of cholesterol and phytosterol. So basically these are the drug which what it will do, it will inhibit the intestinal absorption of cholesterol. It interfere with a specific cholesterol transport protein NPC1L1. So it is the transport protein. So this particular drug interfere with this transport protein in the intestinal mucosa and reduce the absorption of both dietary and biliary cholesterol. There is a compensatory increase in hepatic cholesterol synthesis, but LDL cholesterol level is lowered by 15 to 20%. The enhanced cholesterol synthesis can be blocked by statins. So whatever the cholesterol synthesis increase due to this drug can be blocked by statins, and two drugs have synergistic hypolipidemic effect. So basically when we give sterol, simultaneously we'll give the statins also. We'll give this drug in combination with statins. Then ADR, no specific adverse effect except reversible hepatic dysfunction. So this is all about the anti-hyperlipidemic drugs. Thank you.